Yes. Maybe for you too. Hello.
We'll share between us.
Yeah, you can have one. You can all have one if you like.
Can I have one?
Of course.
Because the leaves.
Excuse me. Would you like a? Oh, thank you. That's for you.
Ivana, she's the artist.
Hi. Hello.
Stefania, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Good to meet you. Hello? Oh, so it's loud. Anyone who wants a photocopy of this image, you can just take it. If I left you out. I'm going to read you something. The rectangular shaped interior of the elevator is decorated with colored images, and occasionally the lift operator turns the volume of the radio up or down. A stranger enters the elevator and addresses the lift operator. Excuse me, mister. Do you know what I'm here for? Silence. I have come for the photograph, which arrived and was handed to you 20 minutes ago. Do you have it? Handed to me, yes. He answers, but a personal note. The stranger insists. It is an important piece of evidence. Did you know of the depiction? To be honest, I had no knowledge of it. Now impatient, the stranger demands, "Oh, answer my question. Or better still, show me the photograph. It will tell you nothing." The stranger turns away and mumbles. With so much to observe, X becomes of secondary importance. He continues, the photograph as remains of an ephemeral inquiry. The elevator stops, opens the door, and the stranger enters. Performance as live event, which either appears or disappears into memory. The first stranger goes along and continues by secretly addressing the new passenger. Can I help you? Fragmented existence. Yes, that would be it. I guess it lost its identity. We will see what will become of you. The new passenger, I call him passenger or stranger number 2, expresses a slight discomfort by looking at the stranger number 1, who is still talking. Legally, we cannot move. We cannot move until one is prepared to sacrifice their reputation. And he goes on. But let's imagine that the sculpture came out of an argument, in need to emphasize the translation of the physical manifestation of these fragile paper constructions, as if transplanting the idea of one material into another. What is meant by this? The second stranger interrupts. We will never know, one replies. So, sarcasm. Number 2 asks, you are as much in the dark as we are, aren't you? I would interrupt as well, just to add some perspective, but he continues. We are in need for a vocabulary to elaborate an idea here, in order to provide the definition, as if one would find him or herself in need to make a decision whether to step off the bicycle and walk on the sidewalk for safety reasons, or to continue cycling on the road with improper working brakes. Challenge the absurdity and look for the peculiar detail in the most casual occasions. Take as an example the oyster. Oyster, stranger 2 wonders. Yes, of course. Oysters, they do breathe, don't they? And the photograph reports in our absence. In photography, the ephemeral is in disguise, while performance wrongly argues to inhabit it as its distinct quality. Maybe it is a pendulum motion between these two. The lift operator interrupts. The door of the elevator opens and closes. No one enters this time. The lift operator continues. The image of ourselves is being reflected back to us on a daily basis. The absence of the world in every detail, like the absence of the subject in detail, marked in every feature in one's face. Observing all 3 corners of the rectangular-shaped interior, this moment in particular caught my attention. As if the camera looks into the mirror, I conclude. Maybe we should direct our energies towards the gossip columns to examine and identify the practice of hiding in plain sight, one announced. As currently performed by German President Wolf, who's obviously taken advantage of it, 2 now yells. Don't get confused. Let us look at the facts we have. Folded standard paper in various colors, balancing, collapsing, and describing possible structure vehicles. The frame is directed. Its form is so conventional, it does not have to be learned to be understood. Yet it is a historically highly developed form, this rectangle. We take for granted the rectangular form of the sheet of paper and its clearly defined smooth surface on which one draws, writes, or copies. But such a field corresponds to nothing in nature or mental imaginary. The rectangular field is an advanced artifact presupposing a long development of art. Remarkable, it sounds out of the corner. I lower my eyes to the floor and remember when I left the house of my friends the other night. after a late dinner. I stepped outside into the hallway to put on my shoes. When my left toe, not yet completely reached the tip of the shoe's inside, hits a soft resistance. My reflexes make me pull out my foot right away. I freeze, become occupied with an already established incomprehensibility which is surrounded by a voluntary office of possible explanations. A cockroach leaves the shoe. At home, the contact made with the insect echoes on my skin. It persistently pounds, wants to be acknowledged and called an imprint of some kind. And then, as if the stranger heard me, he continues my thoughts. Yes, exactly. And every photographed object is only a trace which leaves behind the disappearance of everything else. The lift operator stops the movable, rectangular room we share and calmly concludes. Seen from a common perspective, the world seems very disappointing. Seen in detail and taken by surprise, the world is of perfect evidence. That was less than 30 minutes. If anyone wants any more of these, or take them back.